We'll be doing some quad stretches, hip openers, and some hamstring stretches as a way to prepare for Hanumanasana or a split. If you've got blocks, grab them, and a strap would be useful as well. We'll start standing in a wide stance. As a way to prepare the hips as you stand, step wide with your feet parallel. Bend your knees. Take your hands to your shin bones. Work your shin bones in toward your hands. Pull your feet in toward one another. As you work the arms to extend the shin bones out, pull in with the shin bones as you drop your pelvis down. Keep pulling the feet in toward each other. And now slowly just come out of the pose to lie on your back. Have a block by you so that you can lift your pelvis. So as you lie down with your knees bent, draw your block underneath your pelvis. I've got it at the lowest level. You can work the block at the higher level if you wish. We'll be doing a quad stretch. And for those of us that bicycle a lot to do our daily activities, you may want to do just a little bit more work in this, because to do a split, the back leg, it has to really work to lengthen. And as you take a strap around your right foot, again, your choice. You can be low, you can be a little bit higher, just to see what works well for your body. Take the strap around the right foot. Press the base of the right toes into the strap and lift your foot up. Now it's this bottom leg, which is the back leg in Hanumanasana or a split, that you really want to get a nice stretch to. As you hold on to the strap and activate the lifted leg, spread your toes, keep reaching back. So a lot of hip extension here as you lift up through the base of the toes. Now bend your right knee, press into the base of the toes, reach your foot into the strap. A slight bend gives you strength while working on your flexibility at the same time. You can take the strap in your right hand and just draw the foot to the right side just slightly while keeping your left leg active. Draw the right foot back. Release your right foot, release the strap with both knees bent, feet planted. Get a nice lift of your heart, and just notice if the block height works for you. Change it if it doesn't. Take the left foot up. So you draw the left hip area into flexion. You extend the right leg to get a lot of extension. So as you lift your right foot up, notice side to side. How does this side feel compared to the other? Reach through the base of the toes. Now take the strap in the left hand, a slight bend to the knee again so that you can really engage the hamstrings even as you work to get a little bit more flexibility. As you draw over to the side, notice how you start to feel just a slightly different engagement sensation on the upper inner groin muscles. Inhale and lift your left foot up and release release your strap, bend both knees, and plant your feet. See about lifting your pelvis up off the block so that you gain a stretch to both sides and balance out the quad stretch on both sides, on the right and the left legs. Now remove your blocks and just take a look here for a moment. We'll be doing a supine Virasana, Supta Virasana. The sacrum will be on the block, so your pelvis will be elevated, and we'll get a stretch to the quad. We'll start with a stretch to the left quad. So as you come to the block, first sitting in Virasana, you'll extend the right leg out. Getting into this pose is slightly tricky, so use your hands to draw yourself down, all the way down, and notice how your left knee may pop up. Now, if this does not work for your knee, by all means, do not do this pose. Just do the same pose we were in, the straight leg version. You're still getting a nice stretch to the quad. You can draw your right foot in and lift the right foot up. And again, just be mindful of the left leg. You're getting a stretch and you don't want to just go overdo it. So little stretch here before releasing out of the strap to come to the opposite side. So release your left foot, roll over. It's awkward getting in and out of this pose, but it is wonderful stretch to the quads. The left quad is feeling nice and lengthened. Now let's do the same with the right. So as you come to Virasana, with the right knee bent, support yourself to come down to the pose. Check in to see if this works for this side of the body. Draw your left foot in, reach it up, hold on, and again, just check in if this is not working for your knee, come out of the pose. But you're giving a nice stretch to the lifted leg and certainly a nice stretch to the bottom leg. You can release out of this pose, release your right foot. If you can bend both knees and still maintain a nice lift on the block, come to a bridge pose again. Press your elbows down, get a nice lift of the chest. Now that you've stretched the quads on both sides, just notice how full your bridge is. Release your pelvis back to the block. See about getting a stretch once again to just one leg at a time. So as you draw your right leg up in the air, work the left foot down to lift your right foot high. Take your pelvis down, release your right foot. Take your left leg in the air, press into the right foot. Inhale, lift your pelvis up. Exhale, take the pelvis down. Release your left foot. We'll do one more stretch to continue the work to open the pelvis. So as you draw the right foot just to the outer left knee, draw your right knee away from your chest. As you press into the left foot, inhale, lift your pelvis high. Reach from the pelvis to the right knee to get as much length as possible. Take your pelvis down, Take your right foot down. Take your left ankle to the outer right knee. Reach from the pelvis to the left knee to get lots of length. Keep your left toes active. Root down through the elbows to lift yourself high. Keep a nice grounded quality to the right foot. Release the pelvis down. Release your left foot down. Roll over to your side. And once again, let's come to that wide stance, hip opening pose, where it's almost like we're coming to this very wide squatting position. Step wide, and you may find it works for you to take your toes wide. Take your hands down to the shins. Pull your feet in toward the arms, but push out from the arms as you take your pelvis down. Just notice how you get so much engagement of the inner groin muscles. Now come out of the pose. If you've got two blocks, grab both of them now. Come to the tall blocks. We'll do a runner's lunge. I've done several of these videos on Hanumanasana or splits. I like doing the runner's lunge because it's the form of the pose, the engagement that you get in the pose. We've done the back quad stretch and hip openers. Now we'll work a little bit more on the front leg. So bend your knee of the front leg. Press down through the heel. Pull the front heel back toward the back leg. Now the back leg is pulling in toward the front leg. So from your back toenails, you're pulling in to engage nicely. You can release yourself out of this form of the pose, but take your right foot now just slightly outside of the mat if you wish, or off to the far corner. So with the foot reaching, so now that you're at a bit of an angle, you might be able to create a little bit more hip opening by drawing your tailbone back and drawing your tailbone down. Now, if you'd like to come to the full form of the pose, you can slide a block under your hip and maybe even reach up in this variation where your foot is just off to the side, so you get a little bit more fullness. Release your hands down. I like the two blocks because it really supports a nice elongation of the spine. If you're rounding too much in the pose, then the spine becomes slightly contracted. We want to keep that length. So step your left foot forward. We'll start in the runner's lunge, and the same thing with the foot in front, pulling back toward the back leg. Let's gain a little bit more stretch as the back foot now is pulling toward the front foot. So you're really drawing in to this midsection, while the blocks just help support you and lift you. Maybe you can still keep the action of the heel pressing down and pulling in to draw you deeper into the pose. Now let's do the variation where you draw your left foot just slightly to the left side. If you'd like to use your blocks to support that elongation of the spine, you can, with the knee bent, just draw the pelvis back so you feel the inner groin muscles really get expansive. Draw your tailbone down, drop into the pose a little bit deeper. Maybe provide that support in the pose. Maybe even hands-free. You celebrate the pose and release out. Even in the shortest of practices, this time where we can just allow ourselves to assimilate the actions that we've done. Give yourself a few moments here as you lie back in Savasana with your eyes closed, with an easeful flow of the breath. In this practice, we did some hip opening, followed by the supine quad stretches, followed by the lunge where we take the form of Hanumanasana, where the engagement of the front leg, the engagement of the back leg, is pulling in toward your center, allows you strength with the flexibility. Bring your attention to your breath. Breathe in deep. And out long. Breathe in deep. And out long. Breathe in deep. And out long. Enjoy your Savasana. Namaste.